been playing Overwatch for 4 years. Really started taking it seriously in Overwatch 2, and I play for a team on my school.
Nice.
Had really good growth between like season 1 to season 3, and then I was kind of stagnant.
Season 1, season 3, you were. I see you hit GM.
Yeah, I went from Diamond, like mid Diamond, to GM 1.
Yep.
And I kind of stayed GM 3 to GM 5, and then until season 9. And then I kind of just stayed between like D1 to Masters 5. And, I'll fluctuate to hit M4. Sorry. Yeah, I'll fluctuate to M4 to D2, but I usually just stay around that area.
Okay. And that's
where
you're
other
at
friends
right now?
That are better than me, and I've had them coaching me, but it doesn't really seem to help.
Okay. Have you always been a tank player?
Yeah.
Okay. And you play tank with the team that you're working with, your team?
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. Sigma, Rhine, Winston. Is that generally the case? Primarily your hero pool? And does that change over time?
I guess more orisa than Rhine, but yeah, I usually stick to my more main tanks.
Got it. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, makes sense. I think, like, I assume you know this, but I want to encourage you because I have my exposure with my job means that I work with a lot of people, hundreds of people, thousands of people over the last year or so. And there are a lot of people that have the exact same issue as you. The season 3 peak, the season 8 peak as well, the season 9 crash and burn and so on. I would say you're probably slightly worse than you were in season 3, but
yeah, I definitely don't doubt that.
I don't think you're that much worse. I think, there were a large percentage of people in GM1, like a lot of people in GM1. I think season 9 was a very harsh reset. I think they've leveled up a little bit off of that, but still, I guess what I would say is it's like you really want to compare yourself in like I think post season 9. Let's say that way. From season 9 to where you are now, that's really where you want to pay a little bit more attention to your rank adjustments. Because I remember going into season 9 and I was one-tricking the Faro rework so that I could learn it better, so I could coach it better. And I was playing at like Masters 4 or whatever. And my entire all of my lobbies were GM3, GM2 players. Just based off of the nature of like the way the rank reset was working. And the irony is that there's still Masters 3, Masters 4, whatever, the GM3 players. So it's like, basically, if you're at Masters 4 right now, that's like the equivalent of like pre-season 9, GM4, GM3, GM2, and it sounds like you're still kind of hovering around there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I completely understand that. I understand that, like, top 500 is now like M1 for tank when it used to be GM1. So it's like, I understand I'm a little bit worse, but like my problem is I just don't know how to get better.
Yeah, I understand. So you're like, regardless of the rank, what do I need to do to improve my play?
Yeah, I understand that. I know I've just been stagnant, and like my relative skill hasn't been moved much.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll take a look here. I want to find a way to have consistent gameplay, communication, and know what the correct decisions I should be making. Anything that you would change or elaborate on there since the time you filled out the form?
Not really.
Okay. I assume this is both reflecting off of your ranked play, but also your team play too.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. Play around 20 hours per week. How much of that is scrimmaging versus solo queue?
It's actually probably a little bit less now because I've been kind of getting a little bit burnt out, but probably was probably a bit more. I scrim 4 times a week, 2 hours.
Wow, that's a lot.
Another tank player.
That's a lot.
So I probably get 4 hours a week of scrims.
That's crazy. That's actually that's a lot of scrimming. That's good. And in solo queue, how much solo queue are you able to get like in the average day?
I used to play probably 5 to 10 games, but I since slowed down since Rivals came out. I've been playing a little bit more of that. And
yeah, makes sense. What do you think you're gonna be able to get consistently moving forward on the average week? Couple games, 2 or 3 games, seeing how Rivals goes.
Yeah, I played 3 yesterday. I played 3 this morning.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
I have a bunch of free time right now.
That's fair. We'll play it by ear. We'll see how much you enjoy Rivals over the course of the next month. Maybe Rivals becomes the main game. Maybe you go back to Overwatch. I don't really know. But in the meantime, I would say just keep checking that basic box. Get a couple games in daily. And what we could do is we'll introduce some new ideas, new goals for you, so that if you ever do get back into Overwatch really seriously, or getting in 5-10 games a day, 5-6 whatever, then you will have a clear path of what is expected for you when you are training, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Out of curiosity, what are you enjoying in Rivals the most right now? Who have you been playing?
Magneto, surprisingly.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think Magneto's fun. I think a lot of the pokier and spammier tanks are fun. As long as you just don't go into Hulk and then disappoint yourself, you'll be fine. Yeah, dive tanks, ironically, are quite bad, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Venom just lacks so much. Hulk lacks so much. Okay, I'm a Bucky one trick, basically. I've gotten lucky, and I get a bunch of healers every game, so I'm like, all right, well, I'll keep playing Bucky then. 20 hours a week. At the time, obviously, are you still scrimmaging right now, or are you guys on break for Christmas?
We're on break. I think we have a scrim later tonight, but I'm not sure if I can go due to personal reasons. But
yeah, it makes sense. Okay, sounds good.
I think we're gonna be like once a week, maybe.
Okay. Just I'm gonna like rap God a couple of basic advice things that probably would help with Marvel Rivals too. But if you don't have a warm-up routine, do make one. Even if it's just 2 to 3 minutes of just moving around in Vaxta, aiming at stuff, it's important. Even just a couple of minutes to warm yourself up mechanically, even as a tank. Make sure that you're taking breaks between games. Jump up from your computer, stretch legs. I know that's especially not very common in scrims. It should be, even if it's just like 1 minute. I think it's really, really valuable. If you guys do like the 5-minute bio, like the 5-minute bathroom break halfway, definitely take that just to get away from your computer. I think it's really, really important to do so. And then beyond that, just make sure that you always have goals going into the game. Like, be very deliberate with what you need to be practicing. Never second guess. Never be vague with what you're supposed to be accomplishing that day. Either you're playing to perform or you're playing to practice a specific skill, like positioning or cooldown usage or whatever else. Like, always know exactly what you're practicing. Yeah, I think that's just a good general principle. Any questions?
Not really.
Okay. Probably stuff you already know, but just figured we'd go down the box here. Goals: you'd like to be able to become a better player, be able to shot call and communicate properly, and maybe if Overwatch ends up hitting it for you still, we'll get to top 500 or Grandmaster again. Okay. Any questions before we jump into gameplay here?
Nope.
All right. Shoot me a code and let's take a look.
Okay. You want one of like I won or lost or like I felt good?
Close game, or one where you felt like you were unsure or had questions or felt a little lost about what you should do. Even if that game was a big win or a big loss, or I don't really care about the result all that much. I think close games are generally better just because you kind of see what you're like under pressure, but I don't think it matters that much.
We'll do this one. Oops. No, one.
It's fine. Got it. Now, what about this code stood out to you?
I felt like it was very winnable. We ended up drawing it.
I
felt like I was forced to play Sigma, even though I know Monkey was better theoretically, because
how so?
We double main support, and I didn't feel like I could live if I swapped to Monkey. We started Alari, Mercy.
I see. Yeah, I'm looking at your support lineup. I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
I see why you're not playing.
Break after like the first or second fight. So
yeah.
Okay. Go Monkey. I'm like, I physically cannot without instantly dying.
Yeah, I mean, even EDRE Mercy is pretty rough for Winston. I mean, Mercy's not terrible.
We have like a 3-minute cap, or we let them with like under a minute.
Yeah. Okay.
Hold. Yeah.
Okay, so I dropped the ball on this one, but I forgot a question. I want to talk about hero pool. You were pretty clear about what your hero pool was, but I didn't ask what's your breakdown like. Like, how much of a priority is Ryan or Winston or Sigma or whatever, or Orisa? You know, like, what's your playtime breakdown generally?
Sigma's definitely my favorite. I'll play him the most. I feel like I know basically every matchup with him except Hazard, because I haven't really played much against Hazard.
He does well versus Hazard, I think. But yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but like, okay. I'll mostly stick to Sigma, Orisa, Winston in those three.
Sure.
I like,
okay.
The poke.
Okay.
I'll dive, and then I'll kind of swap Ryan if I'm feeling fun. Or
it's a good hero pool. Yeah, it's a good hero pool. Yeah, there's no weaknesses to that hero pool. It's good to look at. So what I'll try to do, if you're interested, is I'll try to go through this Sigma VOD not as quickly as I can, but efficiently, so that if you'd like to, we could take a quick look at Winston or Orisa as well, if you'd like.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
I'm not sure I have any. I think I just played this.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I mean, I think we could definitely look at orisa then. I think people are like, oh, you don't need coaching for orisa, which is obviously bogus. Okay. Sigma, mid-range, cooldown management, hitting your shots, damage pressure. I actually think here, so this is a bit spicy here. I actually think you're mispositioned here.
Okay.
Your job is not to anchor a position. Your job is to anchor an angle where you can actually be doing damage. So, like, if the Doomfist dies to EDI, yeah, you'll be able to accretion him and kind of hold this space. But in the meantime, you're losing out on so much damage, like, because you can't really reach where the action is happening right now. Now, you couldn't have predicted that your Widow would hold this close, and you probably couldn't have predicted that your Genji Mercy would be doing what he's doing right now either. But you don't have to predict. You just need to react. So from here, drop. Go to here, drop, go to here. Honestly, hold the choke.
Okay.
Really. Like, just if you can't do damage with this character while your team is fighting, then you're trolling. That's kind of the way I look at it.
Yeah, I think the reason I just hold so hard here is because we get an opening pick, and I just don't want to get in position, especially since I know they're playing to dive.
Well, the thing is like, you're allowing them to set up the dive because you should be doing damage right now. Like, right now, this Genji should not be in a position to dive because he should have just been hit by a volley. And also, this really, realistically, like, with where the easiest Sigma, you should have been stuffing this door. You should have been stuffing this door. There should have been damage here. Okay. There should have been trades here. You're basically holding space that your teammates aren't using and the enemy team isn't contesting.
Okay.
Which the simplest way of, like, the streamline this is just, I need to be in a position for when my team is doing things, I'm also doing something right now. And while this is a nice mechanical accretion, you're really not doing all that much. Like, let's be honest. Yeah. Like, you're not really stuffing the Widow. You're not stuffing the Ana. You're not marking the angles. It's pretty easy for them to just kind of ignore you because the space that you're holding isn't all that valuable. This is fine because, you know, you're stopping cart and all that kind of stuff. But basically, this is just a question of, like, where your space was useless because the enemy team was not contesting that and you could not do damage from there. Like, right, Sigma...
So just to stop them from...
That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it.
I guess. Yeah, because normally I'm just used to, like, not holding that angle because I've been taught, like, that's just bad, especially on...
Well, why is it bad? So you're saying, like, holding this angle here is bad?
Well, no, not there, but, like, the further choke.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, maybe not even hold the further choke, but just anchoring yourself here. Like, you got to look at Sigma kind of similarly to Brigitte. Like, with wherever you are is, like, a no-no zone for the enemy team. Now, you have major limitations in the fact that, like, a little bit like Brig, they could just kind of go around you, you know? But that's kind of what you want them to... You want to make them do that. Like, they have to make them go around you if they have to. And for a lot of characters like the Ana here and the Widow here, they can't. They can't go around you. And that's where Sigma's really good. And if they all decide to gang up on you, well, everybody's going to obliterate them trying to beat you up, right? Sigma's like... Basically, think of Sigma as like an anchor tank like Reinhardt. But unlike Reinhardt, he doesn't have limited range, so he can impact a lot of areas around where he's standing. And also, he needs a lot less support than Reinhardt too. So you could be a pretty... Like, think of yourself, honestly, like the way EDRE plays, where she just kind of holds an angle with a turret and just kind of lives by herself. Kind of the same thing for you. Kind of the same thing for you.
Yeah.
This is fine. But, like, you could just kind of anchor this angle here. I think this fight is lost just based off the nature of the way this fight's going. Mechanics here. Let's talk mechanics. So, I'm not going to sit here with a straight face and tell you that this is easy to hit. Right? Her hitbox is like a pencil with a rocket ship, okay? So, it's rough. But this is not a good representation of your mechanics. Do you see my little green cross here on the light post here?
I see mine.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But you know what I'm saying, right? Yeah. This is, you're not this bad. You're not this bad either. You're not this bad. You know, slow it down. Slow it down. When you're in these situations, when you have really, really difficult mechanics, partial credit matters, right? Even a partial miss, it matters. You need to hit these. You have to. I think Sigma is probably one of the most mechanically demanding tanks in the game, just because, like Roadhog, if you don't hit your shots, you just don't do much. Like, you just don't do much. It's very unforgiving in those kind of scenarios. Would that have changed that fight? Probably not, but you unquestionably needed to hit those shots. And my feedback for hitting more of those shots is to just be a little bit more deliberate and a little bit more cognizant of where you're actually aiming. Don't just spam. Sometimes it's easy to spam because you're just spamming at a corner, right? Sometimes it's not easy to spam, and that's when you need to slow things down a little bit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. This is really good. This is really good. This is kind of what I was talking about, right? Because if you think about it, like, the end goal for this Doomfist Genji is not to dive here. What's the end goal for these guys? Like, who do they want to dive? Where do they want to dive? End goal.
I want to get onto my brig. And
Right. But the question is how do they get onto your brig? Well, they can't just, like, teleport here, right? Even the Doomfist, if the Doomfist goes from here on top of your brig, he's going to have to use both cooldowns, which is really bad for him, right? So they're going to have to clear this space here and then do stuff like bam and bam, and then flank from here. So then how do they get there? Well, they need to get rid of you. So what ends up happening is, like, they dive your tracer on the way to get to your backline. You stop it. You take the punch, the empowered punch, and then that allows your team to actually live the dive. This is kind of close to what we wanted you to do, right? You probably weren't even thinking about protecting your backline there. You were just thinking about doing damage, right? But because you did that, you stopped the dive. That's kind of what we're looking at here. Like, even right now, are you thinking about peeling the dive? No. But you know what you're doing? You're doing damage. You're doing damage. You're stopping this Ana from walking forward. Right. Yeah. You're stopping this Ana from walking forward. You're stopping the Widow from taking a space. Yes, your backline's going to get Doomfist ulted. Yes, this Doomfist is going to be back here for like 6 hours, right? But tell you what, if there's any tank that can live here for 6 hours, it's Sigma. It's Sigma. You're not scared of nade. You're not scared of sleep. You're not scared of this Widow. You don't need healing. You just need to live. Like, think about it this way. They've used an ultimate, and you're shutting it out by yourself. You don't even need to get the kill here. Yeah, this is just... I don't think you're aware of how little healing you're getting right now.
Yeah.
This is just more battlefield awareness, right? Because you have a Doomfist that's using ult on your backline. So your operation is survive.
Yeah, because I always play like this as a support behind, which I know is probably one of my bigger issues.
Yeah. You just can't get follow-up right now. Like, look at this Doomfist HP. Like, he's getting murked, right? Like, your backline is peeling him. They're doing a good job, right? You just need to live because you've used Infrasight and they've used Doomfist ult. They're using ultimates, right? You're fine. You just need to live here. Live these two ultimates and you guys are cooking.
So I just hold that corner there. Just don't make a play, but like...
Hold the corner. Hold the corner, use your shield, right? Hold the corner. Look at your resources, right? You have shift, you have shield, you had like close to full HP. And then now, look at your backline, right? They force the Doomfist out. They immediately walk forward to help you. Your Tracer walks forward. Your Genji takes an angle. Your Brig Mercy walks forward. Your team just wasn't there in time, but that's your fault, right? And you know that, right? Yeah. Like, you messed it up. And so then this gets really messy. Nice rock. Keep that shield up. Yeah, okay, it's fine. They used a lot of ults. Yeah, basically, it's that was a recognition of, I'm not going to get any healing. My job is to isolate. When your team is there, you can play aggressive. When your team isn't there, you need to hold that space.
I think this was the monkey, thought monkey.
Yeah, that's fine. Because on paper, monkey would be great versus this, but if you're running Brig Mercy, I get it.
Yeah.
Good. Go do damage. Go do damage. Go do damage. And now you know you have follow up, right? Like, because the Doomfist is out, and so. But yeah, this is good. Nice accretion. Such a satisfying cooldown, honestly.
Yeah.
I wish Rivals had more cooldowns like that, honestly. That was my major complaint.
Yeah, there's not like rewarding abilities.
Yeah, not as much. Not as much. Magneto kind of has one, but it's not quite as good. And this is pretty good. Like, I want to showcase again. Compare this with First Fight, right? Like, it's not perfect resource management, but like, look at this Widow and Ana's space. You know, compared to First Fight, right? Like, and again, you're not trying to peel the dive here. You're just anchoring yourself and saying, no, you guys, this Doomfist is going to be on a total island, right? This is fine. This is fine. I actually don't hate the ult. It's a little risky with Doom, but as long as you know that he can't punch you, you're cooking. Yeah, this is good. This is textbook Sigma. Find a corner, find a target that you could shoot and control, and just live. Just keep them out of the fight and demand very little healing. This is great. It's fine. And you could just stand in this choke and shoot. Yep. And this is it, right? Again, how many tanks could stand here and just completely hold this backline without any fear of CC, right? Maybe Ryan, but Ryan couldn't do damage and shield at the same time. Now, I'm not going to lie with you. This is scary. This is very scary. But the reality is, here's the crazy part. You can die here and it will still be value, right? You could die here and it'll still be value because of how much resources that you're going to take here. I want to see accretion. I want to see shift. Shift. I mean, that's close. That's close. I'm trying to think if there's anything that stands out here. Probably would have accretion sooner. But honestly, even that feels a bit nitpicky. And you even you left your shield up too, which is really good, so that there wasn't follow-up from the Ana. It's the nade that got you. The shift didn't quite get the nade. Honestly, mate, this is an earned death. That's just what it is.
Okay.
It's an earned death. You had a good resource trade. There was a little bit of mechanical stuff there that you could have like squeezed out a bit more value, but we'll call that an earned death. We choose our battles, right? Did you play perfectly? No. But that's not a major concern for me, because if that's how you play, that's masters. You know, you'll get masters with that, no problem, or more than masters. You know. Yeah, get him off. So this is the Sigma moment, right? Where there's like a million things happening on your screen, and the reason why this is so bad is that every tank deals with this, but if you let it get to you with Sigma, you're going to start missing your shots. You need to stay calm and shoot stuff. Now, the funny thing here is it actually doesn't matter too much who you shoot. This Cassie is accessible in theory, if you could peek him. The Ana is accessible, the Tracer is accessible, Brigitte is accessible. I just want to see you relax and hit your shots. This is good. Yes, keep him out.
And just stop moving and like just take a second to...
Yeah, exactly. You're anchoring really well here. Good. Yeah, I mean, this is good. This is good. I mean, your team's kind of trolling a little bit, but this is good. Questionable, I'm not gonna lie, but I respect it. I don't think it was a bad play. It just was always going to be risky. I think this fight's fine. Like, I think this fight's fine. Again, I think your team is trolling you this fight.
Okay.
I think you played well. I think your resource trades, you actually did more damage than I was expecting. You seemed to keep the calm. You timed, the ultimate was always risky, but you timed it around bash and punch, I noticed, which is not easy to do. Yeah, I think the only thing I would say there is just like managing your shield a little bit there and just like putting it up before the ultimate. That might have helped. But honestly, I don't know if that would have won the fight. We're not really results based here, you know, like you were, if you lose the fight, but you played well, you know, who cares, and vice versa.
Yeah, I understand that.
Like, I think what you're doing is you're absorbing a lot of this Doomfist's attention pretty consistently, and your team should be able to follow up off of that. This kind of stuff is going to be annoying, though, because you're going to get naded. Ooh, nice. That's lucky. Okay, accretion that. Good. The question always with tank is how much damage am I doing? How much healing am I demanding? And I think generally you've done a pretty positive job. Okay.
Yeah, I'm usually very consistent on dealing damage. And how I used to play Sigma is I'd literally just walk into the backline 1v2, and this when Sigma had a one-shot, I would just go force the supports into 1v2 and expect my team to like 3v4. And then
question is how much damage did you take during that, right?
Yeah. I'm saying I would go in, I would one-shot one of them, and then I would leave. And then now I just can't seem to do that, and I'm still kind of reliant on that gameplay.
It feels a little bit like Kiriko players trying to adjust to not having a 2-tap. The gameplay loop doesn't change that much, but the urgency or the tempo might change a little bit. Where like a Kiriko player will still take an angle and spam, but she just doesn't get the 2-tap anymore, right? So it's more about like playing for uptime on backline. And I think the same thing applies to you. You're not going to get the one-shot, but you still need to be playing for uptime on backline, right? Like controlling 2 people on backline is almost as good as killing them.
Yeah.
This is fine. Just be careful about how much damage you're taking here, because I don't think your team has a good angle. Good. Again, do you see that? Again, like it kills me how well you've kind of anchored early compared to first point. Like I really don't want to see that again in your play, right? Where you're stacked with your team and not actually doing damage because you're like, oh, I want to hold this space. This is night and day, right? Like all you're doing is you're making it impossible for these guys to walk forward without taking a lot of damage while not taking much damage, right? Is this particular spot important? No. But you're doing damage. That's all that matters. And you have cover. That's all that matters. You understand what I'm saying? That's all you're really, like, don't overthink this, right? You hold an angle, you put pressure, that's going to control space. And that's why this Ana has not been able to land an anti-nade since like 1963, right? It's because of what you've been doing to her. It's why this Doomfist hasn't been able to dive your backline. It's why he's been focusing you this entire game. Because you've denied him the ability to stage. Even here, don't worry about this. Let him do this. You crossfire from here. Damage, damage, damage. Good. Yeah, that's no good. You got a little bloodthirst. You're like see all the HPs. You're getting the tickies. They're getting butchered. Yeah, I mean it's the funny thing is it's still gonna work because it's still forced a response. Watch the ult itself.
Yeah, because they both Brig and Doom looked at me.
Brig and Doom go flying in, right? Again, you're just being the punching bag, and then okay, they've used my stun, so then I use my shift. I don't need healing, and then they die. So it's like the funny thing is it actually works out better because you got ult charge after the ult instead of getting kills with it. But obviously on paper, like that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, the anchoring, the use of your cooldowns is really good. Oh, I don't know. Okay, good. Good follow-up. Good follow-up. Good follow-up. Were you expecting anti-nade there or what? Or sleep?
Oh, I think I was just trying to protect my Brig.
Gotcha.
Should we just walk out without dying?
Okay. Oh, no. Dear. I knew it was too good to be true. Yeah. All right, let's see it. Now, I guarantee you, your mechanics go to crap.
Yeah, they kind of do this fight. We kind of.
What did I say? There's a volley. That one's not bad. I'm not gonna lie to you and say, oh, you should just shoot the tracer. It's so easy, you know. It's not. That's hilarious. The Doomfist ate that one. By the way, this is also a situation where you really can just leave your shield. Just like throw your shield here and just leave it.
Yeah.
Which looks like that's what you do. And this is fine here. Like, I don't hate this so much, but I will say that brief window when you got like 0 damage on a tracer is criminal. Like, you need to hit your shots. You need to hit your shots. And I remember under those stressful moments, that's when you need to be relaxed. I don't need to hit my full volley. I just need a little bit of damage. Just need to slow it down. Put my crosshair on the target. That's all. It's fine. This lane's fine. Yeah, and then now just anchor here. Don't back from the payload. Don't back from your shield, essentially. Hold the corner. So essentially the reason is here. For you to go from here to here, you have to cross in the open. You see that?
Yeah.
So yes, I know that you're like, you want to back off. I don't think you can. Okay, I don't think you can. So what you're going to do is you might die here, but I want you to make it expensive. You understand? So with Sigma, basically every other tank in the game has repositioning choices. You don't. So that means that your initial angle, the initial sight line that you choose is really, really important, that you choose the right anchor spot. But it also means that once you make that decision, there's really not very many decisions you have to make after that decision. Like now that you're here, okay, you're going to live and you're going to die here, okay? Like you're not going anywhere. So now it's all about your mechanics, right? So in this transition, you don't take too much damage. You take a little bit from the Doomfist ultimate, right? Which is kind of a bummer. But the real problem is that because you gave up space, look what immediately fills that gap. Watch. You see this? So immediately he fills the gap. Even if the Mercy kill was not, punishable, you could at least kill him, trade him, control space. By backing off, whether to peel or whatever else, you kind of cooked your team. You kind of cooked yourself. I don't know if this fight, again, was winnable, but remember, you anchored the spot, you anchored the space where you could do damage, and then you maintain pressure from there. This fight was kind of a tragedy in terms of that rotation. Hold the angle here or hold the lane here. Honestly, could have even held the lane on this little stone wall right here. Would have been fine. This was okay, but you needed to be there and stay there and just keep on that Cassidy Brigitte. You don't have to play melee range with the Cassidy Brig, of course, right? You can keep that little bit of distance. I think that's probably a little bit smarter. But if you do commit, you got to stay. If you do commit, you got to stay. And if you do back off, you can't stop looking at them. So when you back off here, I know Doomfist is on your backline, but post-accretion, there's nothing you could do to this guy. You know what I'm saying? There's just nothing you can do to this guy. But there's a lot that you could do here. And so this becomes your responsibility. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So a little bit of mechanics under pressure. Need to slow down. Initial position, anchor to shoot targets that you can shoot, and then holding that angle and continue to apply pressure on that angle is kind of what we're looking for. Any questions so far?
Not really.
Okay, let's keep going. Nobody here. Keep walking. Yep, I mean, you can kind of see what I'm talking about, right? I see Doom. I can reach these guys easier, right? There's more pressure to be found here. And so now, you dive tank. Good stuff. We take it. Anchor, don't chase, right? So where's your anchor position right now?
Be the choke.
It's the choke, right? You literally sit right here. You toss your shield right here. You may or may not kill these guys. I mean, this is the Spylo segment, right? I can't hit a darn shot, unlike you. So I'll just sit here and I'll do the strategically right thing. I'll never kill them, but I'll keep them there for a while, right? Don't chase this. This gives up too much space, even if he's low. Because you need to control the lane that you can control. And I think what's happening is this Doomfist has been honestly like, yeah, this is atrocious. Like, you've given up so much space to this Doomfist and done basically no damage to him. And that's not a skill issue on your end. Like, it's just the matchup, right? Like, he is not somebody, he can't really punish you all that much, because if your team plays it correctly, if he punishes you, you're just going to shift and he's going to die and you're going to live, right? But you can't really punish him either, right? You're going to be like ships passing in the night, really. The question is can he kill your backline, or can you control his backline better? He's more of a high-risk, high-reward relationship with backline. You have a much more low-risk, low-reward relationship with backline. Like this kind of stuff. Like, imagine a Doomfist doing this. You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously. Like, I want you to pretend that you're a Doomfist watching this and being like, bro, I wish I could do this. Look at this. Do-do-do-do-do. You know what I'm saying? Like... Wait, can you hear me?
I can. I don't know why it's freezing.
Oh, it's okay. Can you see the stream still?
Not really.
All right. You want me to restart? Are you back? Okay, you back? Okay. Did you hear what I said about Doomfist?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look at the control you have here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's absurd. I mean, yeah, exactly. There's just so little risk, right? So much damage. Oh my days. Look at this. Like, it's literally nonstop. And this is where, because they're not taking angles on you, it feels really easy. Now I obviously overextend a little bit, and finally the Tracer gets a flank on you, right? But like, that's it right there, right? Like, that's segment in a nutshell. It's like you keep those slower squishies herded like sheep.
Okay.
You don't worry about Doomfist too much. You don't worry about Tracer too much. You could even make a good argument here. No, I think this is okay. You can just shoot cart. But yeah, so I look at this here and I'm like, all right, clear you out, clear you out, clear you out. Yep. Now, where's your anchor spot likely going to be here? Predict. You don't know for sure, but look at where the payload is. Look at where the enemy team is, which you know. You don't know where your team is. That's crucial. But where do you think your anchor spot is?
The back of this bridge.
Yeah. I could even say that I think, given the fact that they've got a couple dead, I think you could even get the front of this bridge. I think you could sit here.
Yeah, because I do walk forward to contest the bridge, to contest the Tracer, but they eventually flush me out.
Because I think the payload's going to get to here, right? And I think that means that your team can fight with you. So yeah, I think this is okay. I'm curious to see... Yeah, see, this is fine. Just play your shield. This is just you not playing your resources very well, right? So you look at this right now. I understand the accretion. It was a pretty... I mean, we all love that. Like, come on. If you hit that accretion, that's a highlight. It's worth, right?
Yeah.
This is just where sit on the shield. Just sit on it. Don't drop it. Don't drop on it. This is what your shield's for, right? It's not for blocking nade or sleep darts and ash damage only. It's also for blocking just Tracer clips, making her use blinks, you know? Because right now, remember, it's about how little damage can I take. This is how you do it right now. You need to hold this lane. And if you take too much damage because you're being too greedy with your cooldowns, then you're going to have to lose the space. Good. I actually think falling back here is a huge mistake, right? I think you could have been better with your shield management, but you needed this lane. Now you can't control Tracer, which is weird, but okay, we don't normally go for Tracer, but she came to us, so we'll take it. But then also, here, right?
Yeah.
It's your job. It's your job to be that anchor. You can't deal with Doomfist. And now, watch them fill the void. Tracer's top. Doomfist is still on backline. Ana and Ashe didn't have a shield in their face. Kirikou on the lane. Your setup for Flux is really bad because you're on main, right? Do you miss Flux from here? Never. Never. Not once. Impossible, right? Yeah. Do you miss Flux from here? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I get it. You had to worry about Sleep Dart, right? You had limited options. But hey, C9, so that works for us. So I really want to ask yourself, well, I need to ask you, really. Did you fall back because Doomfist? Do you remember?
I think I just have the habit on this map just to drop then.
Gotcha.
And
gotcha.
contest point.
Gotcha. Win the fight first, right? Win the fight first.
Yeah, because I think it's just, I played this, every time I play that map, I don't really have a memory of ever not standing on point when we're about to contest.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's just a chronic habit for you then.
Yeah, so I want to hold better space rather than holding the point.
Right, exactly. That's exactly it. And then when you get the advantage, when you win the fight, then you can drop the card, right? But if your angle is really good on top, like that's how you're going to protect your team. Like you can literally destroy the Ana Ashe by yourself. And the irony there as well is that the Tracer kept running into you too. And like, normally not a matchup that you chase because the Tracer avoids you, but if she walks into you, okay, be my guest, right? Okay, let's keep going here. Like, I like this. Again, you're thinking this is a good position for me to shoot people, right? I think a lot of tanking begins and starts with answering that question. Where can I shoot people? I don't mind using the accretion, but don't drop, because what do you need this position for? Again, right? You need to shoot people. Yeah. So where would your rotation go from? So maybe you toss an accretion on Doomfist, but where does your shield go? And then where do you go?
I think I can just jump across to the center.
I'd throw shield here to make sure there's no follow-up to the Doomfist dive, right? And then, like you said, I just jump across here, rotate here, and then you know what they're going to do here, right? Ashe, they're going to fall back. Doomfist is now isolated, and you're taking 0 damage. Look what happens the second you leave. Check it. You see it? That's what kills your team. That's what kills your team. I don't hate the accretion. I hate the positioning as a result. Good. Walk.
Yeah, because it's another just one of those habits. I just know if I accretion Doom, he's basically most likely going to die.
Yes. The question, can you accretion Doom without physically giving up your anchor?
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's the term I want to use, is where's my anchor? Where's my damage anchor? Where's my damage anchor? Whether that's my effective range and cover. That's what I need, right? Effective range and cover. Effective range and cover. So here feels like you're thinking selfishly, but I don't like it as an anchor because it feels a little too close. Do you see what I'm saying? It feels a little too close. So where would your damage anchor be here then, optimally?
Probably just like in that left where I'm standing in that hallway.
Yeah, you could be here. You could be here. You want to hear something spicy? You could be here, like on this pillar here. Because at least there's a little bit of distance between yourself and that Doomfist, right? And you're able to hold this lane here. Now, are you going to live and die here? Yes, there's no backing up from here. But that's okay. You're equipped for that, right? So if you die here, it'll be what we said earlier, an earned death, right? Yeah, I don't hate what you're doing here. Like, the idea of what you're doing was fine. They had an ultimate, which is whatever, but yeah, it's okay. Get him out. Then where's your damage anchor? Where's your damage anchor? Where's your damage anchor right now? You don't have time to go top. Where'd you go?
If I just walk to the stairway.
So walk to here. Let's say they didn't use Bob for just a split second. Where do you go from here?
If I just walk with my Genji, so they know he wants to walk in.
Okay, and then how do you open up your angle? How do you open up your lane? Because your team is already here. So can you set up a crossfire?
I think I just walk to that pillar. The right Genji.
I'll go one step further. You could open up your lane here, and spam here, anchor here. You see what I'm saying? This applies a little bit of crossfire. Now, optimally, Genji would be taking the angle for you, but if your Genji doesn't, then you can take the angle too. Now, obviously, this is all kind of moot here. I would keep my shield up if I were you, just to prevent follow-up from the dive. So sometimes it feels like when you're distracted by something on your backline, you'll recall your shield, not realizing that there's actual still pressure from main. You see what I'm saying? I might have lost you. All right, we'll stop that right there.